So while I'm at it, I figured I would go ahead and just kind of review the directions to this assignment again. Okay, keep in mind we did, and parents who are listening, we have been working on this. We worked all day in class today, and we worked all day in class on Tuesday on this assignment. So I was hoping that you guys would be feeling a little bit more confident in this assignment. So just to review, we started out by answering this question here. What is your definition of a cell? So what do you think a cell is? Before you started any of this research, any of this learning, any of this activity, what is your definition of a cell? Okay. The next part then, and I helped a lot of you, and I think a lot of you did get through this part in class with Ed Puzzle. So I'm not going to go into that too much, but we created, or rather signed in to our Ed Puzzle account. We did that just by simply logging in as a student, logging in with Google, and since I already had a class made, you guys were able to sign right in and watch that video on cell theory. Now you can also YouTube this video. It's the wacky history of cell theory, so you can look that up. As you're watching that video, you're to be looking for the three parts of cell theory. Within the first minute or so, the narrator goes into what the three parts are. She kind of stops and breaks them down. So, what I would encourage you to do is pause it, maybe jot it down on a piece of paper if you'd like, or come back to this screen and write your answer, and then go back and listen for the second part. Write that down. Press play, listen for the third part. Write that down. Okay, so you're looking for the three parts of cell theory. With any of these video resources, I encourage you to go back and listen or watch again in case you've missed something. Okay, the next step, again, watching a video. This video is on YouTube. It does not have any narration to it, but it is just taking you through the journey of a cell, what the inside of a cell might look like. And of course, it is computer generated. So you are just writing down two observations or two things that you found interesting about that video. The video is pretty awesome. It's pretty amazing. It is, I think, one of the best videos out there, seeing the inside of a cell. So I just want to know what your thoughts are on that video. Were there things that you didn't expect? I heard a lot of students mention things like, wow, I can't believe that we have cells inside of us, and that's what that looks like. So I just want to hear your thoughts on that video. The next one is, again, a video on the cell structures and functions. So what I encourage you to do with this one, kind of like the cell theory, watch it one time through, and then go back and look for the answers to these questions. So maybe you want to read through the questions first, watch the video, and then go back and look for the specifics. Okay. There are 5 questions. What are the internal parts of a cell called? The cell is filled with a jelly-like substance called what? What is the endoplasmic reticulum compared to? And I don't expect you to know what the endoplasmic reticulum is at this point, but I want you to know, what are they making a comparison to? What happens in the mitochondria? There is a process there that happens. And then finally, lysosomes contain enzymes to help with what process? And again, I don't expect you to understand quite yet what a mitochondria is or does, or what lysosomes are or what they do, but you're getting an introduction to these vocabulary words that we will dive into this week. All right. Next, this is not a video. So this is called Explore a Cell. It says you may need to click on the Adobe Flash Player and click Allow. Now, I've already done this step, and I did go over this in class, so it's not going to come up on my screen at this time. But what you're doing with this here is you hit Start, wait for it to load, and basically you're going to be identifying 9 different organelles and their function. So what does that organelle do for the cell? Okay, so we have, pick any one to start with. It doesn't matter which one. So if I wanted to start with this one, okay? So lysosome. Lysosomes destroy viruses, bacteria, and any worn out cell parts. All right, I'm gonna come back to my Hyperdoc screen, and here is where I would type lysosome, and then I would copy down that function. Again, you may want to write it down on a separate piece of paper first. You could print out your Hyperdoc if you'd like and copy your notes down there first before transferring them in, whatever is easier. They do not have a copy and paste option here. Okay, so destroys viruses, bacteria, and any worn out parts. And if I want to double check that, did I get the wording right? I'm just going to click back. Okay, pretty close. I think that's pretty good. All right. So then you'd go through these other ones and do the same thing. Find the name of the organelle and the function. There's 9 of them and there's 9 spaces here. Okay. The directions are repeated right here for you. This here, the cells alive, is just simply a resource for you, something to go and explore. Take a look at the plant cell diagrams. Take a look at the animal cell diagrams. Take a look at what these things look like. Click on them. See what they do. So it's really just a resource, and it's something that could possibly help you with your diagram. Okay. The diagram, you'll have to look at the other video to learn a little bit more about that. Um, you will need to make a copy of the document. You'll do a little bit of a click and drag to label the parts of the cell. And then finally, you'll watch one last video clip of the cell structure and answer this reflection question. It's simply, what did you learn about cells and organelles? Not a wrong or right answer. I just want to know, what did you learn after doing this activity? Okay. Now, again, try not to stress over this assignment. It is our first introduction to this, and I've spoke about this in class. It's not going to be an accuracy grade. I want you to just start collecting some information, be introduced to some of these words, and we are going to be talking about them this week. Okay. So we'll do the bulk of the learning tomorrow and Friday and continuing into next week. All right. So I hope this answers a lot of questions. And I hope that this makes you feel a little bit better. We will talk more in class if you do have any other specific questions.